Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Awake to Oneness Radio. I am Caroline Chang, your host. The mission of Awake to Oneness Radio is to inspire the world to awaken to the universal truth of oneness. Spirituality and science are both telling us that we are literally all connected, that we're literally all one. So what you do to another person, you're literally doing it to yourself. So when the world, mankind awakens to this universal truth of oneness, there will be peace on earth. Today's topic is Evolving Out Loud with stand-up comedian Kyle Cease. Kyle is a keynote speaker, transforming audiences with his unique blend of comedy and transformational information. I had the honor of meeting Kyle this past May in L.A. at the Revelation celebration, the Agape Revelation celebration. He was one of the presenters there, and he did an amazing job. So I invited him, and I'm so honored that he agreed to be with us. Matter of fact, he was supposed to be with us last week. He was feeling a little under the weather. I'm so glad that he's feeling much better this week. And so welcome, Kyle, to Awake to Oneness Radio.
Well,
Kyle?
You are,
okay.
Hi. I didn't even know which way to start because it is so nice to have such a beautiful intro before I do something. And I think that you should do that before I do everything. Like when I go on a date, I think you should set it up by telling the woman all about me and my amazing appearances. And it'll just make life way easier for me. So everything I'm about to do, I think you need to show up right before me and tell them.
Okay, I would love to have that honor. And yeah. I'm so honored that you are with us tonight and so glad that you're feeling better. But can you please tell our audience now, I got to meet you and experience you a little bit, but let our listeners know a little bit about who Kyle is and what you do.
Well, who I am is just this moment. So it's the same as all of us, so it's very exciting and not as exciting, but that would be a very quick show if I just stayed there. So I'll tell you about what my journey has been. I've been a stand-up comedian for 25 years. I had 2 #1 Comedy Central specials. I've had a great career doing movies and all kinds of different things like that. And started when I was a little kid, actually. I started when I was 12 years old and was working clubs in my teen years and a headliner at 18 and had an amazing time. And at one point in my career, I had a very, very big shift in my life. And it basically caused me to realize, first of all, that we're using way too much effort trying to get somewhere that we're not. And to give you an example, when I would write a joke, you'd work really hard and try to write as many jokes as you can, and you're thinking, will this get a laugh? Will this get a laugh? And your whole life is this trying to get a laugh from people. And I realized if I didn't care what they thought and actually went to a place of just playing and allowing myself to just see the stage as a giant playground, and I would be more excited to connect with myself, the weird byproduct is the people loved it way more, and it made me, the success was a byproduct of my connection to myself. And as time went on, I started realizing that almost all of us, all the time, are living in this giant illusion, and the illusion that we're all living in is when something happens, I'll be happy. I mean, almost everybody listening could probably think to themselves of, something in their life right now that they swear when they get, when I get to go on the date with that person, or when I get out of this job, or when I leave this company, or when I start that thing, I'll be happy. And We've had millions of examples from our past of how many times do we think something will make us happy, and then we just really thought, what's next? And so for me, it's not when something happens. It changed to when I'm happy, things will happen. And by happy, I don't necessarily mean a giant smile on my face. I mean, I'm connecting with my soul. I'm connecting to myself. Am I feeling okay with myself? Am I allowing every emotion to come through? And when I do, a lot of things show up in my life. And but I don't care when they show up because I'm happy either way. And so it makes you not dependent on that thing, because I think, you know, when we see these movies and they show these love stories and they say sentences to each other like, you complete me, you're saying I'm incomplete without you. And that's why every time we want something, we immediately go into a place of lack and fear. And so I've discovered this kind of giant thing in my life, and combine comedy and transformation now, because instead of just helping people laugh at their problems, I'd rather have them see that their problems aren't real. It's all in their head, and help them get out of their problems and still make it funny. So that's kind of a little bit about me.
Wow, that is awesome. Well, can you tell us a little bit more about how you got to that point? I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying, because I'm like right there with you right now, living in this moment and happy in this moment. You know, I don't need anything other than now. And I'm always thankful for what is in this moment. But share a little bit more with our audience how you actually made that transformation in your own life.
Sure. Well, first I went from kind of a victim place to an achiever place. And what I mean by that is, at first we really believe we are our circumstances, right? Most people really stress about their circumstances. They're annoyed that their football team lost, or that Justin Bieber's haircut is a certain way, or there's so many different things that people let their stress go up and down based on, and these things really have nothing to do with them quite a bit. You know, you're in a football field screaming at a group of men not from that city, playing a game of football with another group of men who aren't really from that city either, and your entire emotions are all wired based on how they're doing. And so if we think who we are as our circumstances, then we get really stressed, and we end up getting exhausted. And the first stage I went through was learning that I could change my circumstances, that I at one point asked myself when I was in a very suicidal level of anxiety, I asked myself one day, how can I have the #1 Comedy Central special? And that changed my thinking right away, from why me, why do I have this, to how can I have the #1? And then I did. I jumped up and down every morning and pictured it was #1, and then it was. But then what was funny about what was fascinating about that, though, was in that situation, I now can change my circumstances, but I'm still a victim to them, because if it didn't go #1, I still wouldn't be happy. So a lot of times people teach how to achieve stuff, and how to manifest the car, and how to have the #1 career, and how to get all the money and the girl and the guy. But you know what? I've got to achieve quite a bit of those things that I've always wanted. And I can tell you from my experience, that wasn't what made me happy, because the things that I was always searching for, I got, and immediately thought, what's next? So as someone who got to actually experience having those things, I discovered they aren't what makes me happy at all. And they're just something that changed outside of me, but I'm still the same. And what I really was craving was my actual change, my connection to my soul. And we all have something inside of us every second that's a calling, and it's always saying, you know, what if you go build that house on the ocean, or what if you leave this company, and what if you go create your own thing, or what if you write that book? And that feeling, it's a feeling in your body that exists all the time, and we ignore it all the time. And we hear it and we feel it, and then and it can't tell you why you should do it. It's a very excited feeling. And then there's a second feeling that we have that shows up in our mind that just tells you why you shouldn't do it. So a first voice will show up and say, we should leave this company, and it feels good. That feeling is a preview. It's saying when you leave this company, you'll feel better. But then your mind shows up and goes, yeah, but if we leave this company, we can't go to the Cheesecake Factory party next Thursday. And and your body is going, if you'd learned to listen to me, you'd own all the Cheesecake Factories in a month, and you could make them all vegan, whatever. You should, but the first voice can't give you proof of why you should do something. And the second voice is what we listen to, and that's why we stress all the time, because if you feel a calling to do something and you don't do it, you're now in an argument with yourself. You're arguing with what you want to do. So you have to be in chaos with yourself, and this is why we have addiction. We get into addictions because an addiction can get you into the moment. But if you understood that you are the moment, you'd never need an addiction again.
Right. Very true. Go ahead.
Yeah. So at one point, at the height of my comedy, what's that?
No,
you go.
Oh no, I was
okay,
I was just agreeing with you 100%. It's 100%.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
Wonderful. Well, at one point, at the height of my comedy career, when I had 2 #1 Comedy Central specials and I was working like crazy, I had a calling in me, just I felt it in my body, and it said, you're bigger than this. You're supposed to do something even cooler than just comedy. And my mind was like, what are you talking about? You have the dream career. You go on the road, you can meet people, you make good money, you make people laugh, you work for an hour a night, you have the dream life. But my body said, no, there's something even bigger. And whenever you're about to leap, whenever you're about to do anything, the reason you get nervous is because your mind can only measure what it will lose, but it can never measure what it will gain. So when you're seeing all the things that you can lose, like, well, we'd love to go to this event, but, we'd have to get a babysitter and we'd blah, blah, blah. You're not taking into account all the things you could gain. Like maybe you'd find the love of your life there, and maybe you'd come up with $1 million idea, and you can't see that. So I had this calling in me that said, leave doing the comedy clubs. You've done it for 25 years. Let's stop doing the comedy clubs and let's do something bigger. And I didn't even know what it was. I didn't understand it, but I knew that I was contracting myself, staying in a job that I didn't want to do anymore. And so I decided to leave. And right when I left, I had this freedom and way more exciting, higher level ideas started showing up. And I said, well, let's see, what am I good at? I'm good at comedy, and I'm good at transformation. I'm good at speaking transformation. So why don't I combine them? And I started combining comedy and transformation. I thought to myself, there's many companies that would love to have a comedian come and make their team more confident, and there's many, lecture circuits in colleges that I could be speaking at. And my ego said to me, my ego goes, wait, nobody's ever done this before. And my soul went, nobody's ever done this before. You have something original. So I started creating it. And then the next thing I know, I was working probably 50 times more than the other way, making way more money, doing what I love, because now I've created my own field of comedy meets transformation. And I speak at colleges and universities and corporations and seminars. And what's been amazing for me is really there's no one else doing this. And I believe that every human being has the ability to look at many, many skills that they don't realize that they have inside them and create their own field and do what they love to do that's never been done before and have an incredible, huge career that's worth an incredible amount of money doing the exact thing they love. And they have to come up with what feels good in their body and stop asking themselves, what has been done and what would people like. Don't ask that question. Go, what do I want to do? What do I want to be? And so that's what I went through for myself. And no one ever asks what I want, but your body is telling you. You can feel it. You can feel your entire body say, that feels better. And you can feel yourself shrink when you don't do what you want, but you still always do it. That's more of the addiction state. Does that make sense?
That's so true. That's so true. Your soul is longing. Your soul came into this existence to do what it's uniquely here to do. Like you said, everyone has a unique gift, and your soul, when you tap into that, that's when your soul. That's when you feel alive. That's when your soul is singing inside, saying, he or she is finally listening to me, finally following my guidance, And like you said, when you do start, because actually for me, this is the first year, 2015, where I'm just following my soul. Like I have no idea where it's going to lead me, but I'm just following it. And
doesn't it feel good?
Oh, it's a high. I don't need to do drugs. It is literally a high. It truly is. And I'm meeting amazing people like yourself, like Reverend Michael. I mean, I'm just living moment to moment on a high, and no drugs involved. Okay. And
and people.
Go ahead.
Well, people always get scared to leap like you just did because they're trying to measure. Well, how much will I lose money on this? And what you're saying is you've lost, in your high, you've lost a lot of addictive things. So immediately, even that, if people are looking monetisably, you're saving a lot of money when you do what you love, because you don't need to be standing out to everybody. You don't need the biggest house. You don't need the fanciest car. You don't need the extra therapy and the blood pressure medication that you only need because you're not doing what you want to do.
Exactly.
And all those, overeating and the drugs and everything only are showing up because you're not doing what you want to do. But when you do what you want to do, you lose all the addictions. And I have a client that I discovered, he was spending $80,000 a year in addictions, just sustaining himself because he was so staying in a job that he wasn't happy. And it's like $86,000 a year just in, making sure his house looked nice so other people liked him, and making sure that, it was a certain way, and all the storage. And isn't that crazy? So it's immediately like $100,000 raise the second you do what you love, instantly.
And it's like you said, with once you start doing what you love, you don't get the hypertension, you don't overeat, and you don't get all of the illnesses that come from stress, because now you're not in a stressful situation, so you don't need the medication and all of that, because you're living life to its fullest, and that's what your spirit came here to do. And when you do that, you don't. And also, laughter is truly the best medicine. They have done studies. I was just listening to Dr. Joe Dispenza in a video a few days ago, talking about how they did a study with diabetic patients and laughter, and how when they exposed these patients in a room where they could just laugh, comedy show, a funny movie, or whatever that made them laugh, they had them laughing for about an hour. And after that, they didn't need to take insulin. Yeah, it's amazing. It is so amazing. So what you're doing with laughter, is awesome, because it's true. It raises that vibration, and that's what really is a healing. That raising of the vibration heals the body. So laughter can cure anything. I believe whatever ails you, laughter can cure it. So you're doing such an amazing service by giving this information, but also giving it with a humor behind it to raise people's vibration. That is so amazing, so amazing. It is so great that. Yeah, you had me. I was cracking up when you did the show last May. Tell the audience about your event that's coming up in August.
I'm extremely excited about it. We have been doing many events like this now, and they're truly, truly the most special, sacred, fun thing I've ever got to do. And they're called Evolving Out Loud. And they're called that because I'm literally going to be evolving out loud in front of the audience, and they will be evolving with me. Because if you've ever given advice to someone and then you learned from it, have you ever had that happen, where you give someone advice and then you realize that advice was for you, it wasn't even for them? They'll ask you a question and you'll give them advice that wasn't even what their question was. They'll say, I have a stomach ache, and you'll go, I think you should break up with her. And then you realize, and they go, I'm single, and you realize, oh, I'm talking to me.
Right. You're giving yourself advice.
Right. If you've ever given someone advice, and then you learn from the advice, that means there's two of you. There's a you that can suddenly show up out of nowhere and can open your heart up and give to someone freely and riff and speak and just be beautiful at giving advice. You sometimes could bump into a friend that's depressed or going through a breakup. You could give them 2 hours of advice. You could have written a book with that. That just came right through. Where did it come from? And then if there's another you that learns from it, that's the ego you that goes, okay, I got to do what I just said there. So if there's two yous, you know, people get caught up trying to name it. They go, is it the universe or God or whatever? Is it your creative self? I don't know. I believe that you should be able to hear this no matter who you are, if you're an atheist or a Christian or spiritual or whatever, that we all can admit there's a creative you and a consumer you. There's a fear-based you and a flow-based you. And if you notice that there's a you that can give advice and then there's a you that learns from it, there's two yous. So my question is, how do we access the one that can give the advice, the one that can be a space, the one that knows intuitively how to just do everything and can make intuitive decisions? So this event is actually me giving myself advice through the audience. And it's called Evolving Out Loud because I show up, I get on the stage, and I speak for 10 hours a day, and I haven't planned one word. Everything that comes through is just what I'm feeling in the moment and what I need to hear. So what the audience gets is the most authentic, deepest level content that everything I say goes through with them too, and it hits them in the same place. And as you said at the beginning of this, that we're all one, well, I connect with them in that same place where I'm saying the thing that we're all thinking but we didn't know we should say. And what happens is it combines comedy and transformation, and for 2 days the audience shows up in a very excited, collaborative way to work together and be a space for each other, to be a space for each other so that they can have permission finally to thrive, because most of us, we want to do some really exciting things, but the people around us might not make us feel like we're supported, and this place gives you that support. And then you learn all these different exercises that are kind of developed somewhat off the cuff, and the exercises are designed to get you out of your head and into your heart, because in your heart you have unlimited content, you have unlimited abilities, you have unlimited ways to make money, you have so many things you could be doing to give your gift, and most of us overlook that giant sea of possibility because it's blocked by us being in our heads trying to fix problems that aren't really broken. So,
exactly.
So the event is comedy and transformation together, and people get out of their head, they get out of stage fright issues and anxieties and fears, and they learn what they really are. And it's just nothing but fun and play, and it is so beneficial in all ways, in health and finances, in truth and connecting with yourself and letting go of every single thing that you're not to make room for what you're about to become. And it's me and my team who's just the most beautiful community of people, and we're all working together to just be a space for each other, to help people realize when you have a couple days and you're not on Facebook and you're not around all the doubters in your life and you're not watching CNN all day and you actually get stuck with yourself, you'll evolve really quickly, and you'll discover that you have unlimited powers there.
Well, what you say about the heart is so true. It's even scientifically proven that the heart is much more powerful than the brain, than the brain. I'm not sure you're familiar with heart math, the studies that heart math are doing, but I did have Howard Martin from Heart Math on the show a few weeks ago, but it's scientifically proven that the electromagnetic field that the heart gives off is much more powerful than the electromagnetic field of the brain. So then I'm trying to get scientific, but the thing is that what blew me away, what really opened me up to transformation in the 2007 is when I connected the fact that science is proving everything I believe spiritually. I was like, what? When I started hearing about quantum physics and all these theories in quantum physics, everything I believe quantum physics has proven. I'm like, not that I didn't need the scientific proof to believe, because I was believing from my heart, from within, but to find out that science is proving it, that blew me away. I was like, why doesn't everybody know this? I'm like, if science has caught up, why doesn't everybody already know this and know this is how you're supposed to follow that inspiration from within, and it's uniquely your path. So don't look to the naysayers but I know the feeling of wanting support, because that's when Reverend Michael said to me, we all need to feel supported. And when I went to the Agape Revelation, it just was the first time in my life I felt overwhelmingly supported. I didn't get not on Facebook or in my immediate surroundings, but I know that the universe is supporting me. And I know, like I said, I don't know where this is leading, but I just know I'm following spirit, so I know it's a good place. That's all I need to know. And be happy.
Yeah.
And be happy in the journey, because that's the part of it too. Like you said, we're always thinking, okay, we'll be happy when we get the house, or when we get the money, or when we get that perfect job, or that perfect mate. And like you said about being complete, we grow up thinking, we need someone else in our life to complete us. That is so not true. We are complete in ourselves, and just being ourselves is how you meet that person who two complete people come together, and that makes a beautiful relationship, not a person that thinks they need the other person. So that is so awesome. Tell us more about this team. You said there's a team that you have.
I have a group of people that work with me who they have, we have all basically realized that the highest asset people have is their heart open. It's not money. It's not clever ideas. It's, are they wide open to possibility? And I have a group of people that work with me that are just the real thing. And we're all here with this collaborative thing that we all are this space of just wanting to be once you access your heart, truly, the sky's the limit. And these people come from a place of heart. In fact, I'll give you a funny story. In the past, we had someone that was a beautiful strategist. He was very good at strategizing, strategizing would say, if you did this here, it will sell, and if you do this, it'll sell. And it was beautiful, but I also found myself in my head because it was how to do stuff versus just trusting. And so And so when I had him on the team, I noticed that I was kind of an amalgam of him and the team. So I was kind of half in my heart and half in my head, and I couldn't give my all. And I decided that, we just very wonderfully said, let's go work in different ways. And then I got so much more connected to my team. In other words, if there's something in your life that's putting you in your head, you have no ability to appreciate the things in your life that don't put you in your head because you're blocked by the one thing. And, as my friend Glenn Morshower said, if you pee in one part of the pool, you're peeing in all of the pool, right? So
yes, we're all one.
So right.
Yes.
And so if you're in your head about one person and you're trying to do things a certain way because you don't trust, it's blocking how you do everything. Like if your job is stressing you out, your health is going to be off too, so is your relationship. If you're in a job and you're feeling good and your relationship's off, it's going to be that way. Well, my team, we're all just this family. And I don't mean it in a scary, culty way. I mean, they're just a space of love. And weirdly, we've discovered that when you're in your heart can strategize way more than the greatest strategy ever made. Your heart is fully in strategizing mode the whole time. And so my team and I, we've created this giant theater event, August 8th and 9th. And we're all in that place of our heart, and it's we are doing it in a 1,400 seat theater, 2-balcony theater. And it's just huge, and we are, so many people are coming. And imagine spending 2 days with this team and 1,400 people that are in their heart, immersed in possibility of what could happen with their lives and everyone else's lives, and supporting you on that level. And what we've discovered is by the end of day 2, like everybody has truly accessed this whole other creative side, and all of their fears and anxieties, and all those things have fallen off because they're in a place of their heart again. And you only get anxieties, fears, doubts, perfectionism, people-pleasing. That all comes from being in your head. Because when you're truly in your heart, you're guided. You don't care what people think about you. You're the apple tree, not the apple. You're just making apples, and you're not invested in how many people are taking them, and you're just doing it. And that's where we all want to live, and that's our natural state that we're supposed to be in. And that's why this event is so special, and why the people I work with, they're all apple trees. They all are in that alignment of just coming from a space of love. So there's Carrie and Dan and Heather and Chris and Kylie and Nikki on my team. And I've never got to do a show where I got to talk about them, but they're really one of the most special things in my life. So.
That's great. That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Now I know that you're not the only presenter. You have other presenters as well, right, for this event?
Yes, we have Michael Beckwith, who's going to be speaking. We have Ricky Beckwith, who in her choir is going to be doing some music and stuff and talking to. And
amazing.
Yeah, it's really amazing. And then we also have Harold Payne, who is a multi-platinum award-winning songwriter who, what he does is he's written many hit songs that we've known from he's worked with many amazing legends, but he also, he goes up and he does songs off the cuff where he riffs beautifully, soulfully about what we all just saw in the room. So it's very fun and very funny because he does a song off the cuff, and basically what I do with comedy, he does with music. And then there's also my buddy Jason Freeman, who's another amazing comedian, transformational speaker combo, and there's also Chris Hendricks, who's one of the biggest hearts in the world, and he's an incredible musician. And then we also have a 17-year-old kid who's a comedian named Kyle, who had a brain tumor. And he had a brain tumor, and he's been making jokes about it, and it's changing the meaning of what he has, and it's helping a lot of people to see their problems as funny versus something that owns them. But all those speakers are masterful and amazing, and they're so special, and you should definitely come see them. But the biggest factor is that this event is actually an experiential thing for everybody who comes. It's not just about the speakers there. It is about what each person in the audience has inside them that they've been sitting on that they don't know exists. So it's helping people to let go of all these, fears and things and get into this creative self. And when people leave, it is 2 days totally well lived, and it changes the entire course of their life, where they're making decisions from a place of what they want versus what they think they have to do. So it's just magic.
Wow. It sounds amazing. Sometimes these experiences, words to me cannot even do them justice. Because when you have that transforming moment, it just, to put it into words is really kind of hard, because words just don't do it justice. But that is so amazing. And let me tell you what Kyle means, because my son, I lost my son a year ago, and his name was Kyle. He made his transition. I know he's still with me. And I am starting a nonprofit foundation in his memory, the Kyle Foundation. And Kyle stands for Keep Your Light Expanding. That's what Kyle stands for.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, this is kind of a special call then. I see.
Yes. So
I'm honored to be on this call and hear that. That's beautiful.
Yes. When Spirit woke me up in the middle of the night about 6-7 months ago and told me to just do it, Spirit was telling me to first, number one, was start a nonprofit foundation in my son's memory. And my son gave me that name, that Kyle. Actually, he gave me the name before he was born. And this is a true story. I did not know what to name him. And I almost left the hospital with him unnamed. He was about a week old. I had emergency C-section, so I was in the hospital a week, and I almost went home with no name. But in a dream, the name Kyle came to me, and I kind of can remember like someone, and I believe it was him before, him whispering in my dream what to name him, and it was Kyle. But also, keep your light expanding also came from Spirit, came from him directly, I believe. But Spirit woke me up and told me to start a nonprofit foundation in his honor. I live in the Poconos on the East Coast, and my goal is to have this Kyle Foundation Center will be similar to the Agape Center on the West Coast. We need something like that over here in the East Coast, in the Poconos. And then also, Spirit was telling me to start a talk radio show, internet talk radio show, which I had no idea how to do. So I was just like, okay, I'm just following Spirit, and all of this started middle of January, but the show actually, I launched the show actually in March. But it's all what you're saying about just following Spirit and following your heart and just not listening to anything but your heart, because it's going to lead you to where you need to be. And we all have that inside of us. We really do, and it's tapping into that. For me, it's I love the water. I love sitting by the lake and meditating and centering myself, because sometimes I could get real busy and I have 100 things to do, and I'm like, I'll stop. And I was like, no, let me go to the lake, especially on a beautiful day like today. I'm like, no, let me go to the lake. I don't care what I have to do. Nothing's more important than aligning myself, quieting my mind, and listening to what my spirit and my heart is telling me, and just finding that now moment and soaking it in. It's just realigning me to make that next step, to go in the right direction. So it's so amazing when, like, what I've been doing with the show is meeting people like you, Reverend Michael, and having you guys come on the show and sharing your experience with the audience. The thing I love about Internet Radio is this is a new show, so I don't get too many live listeners, but I get emails from people in Africa, Malaysia, Canada, all over the world that have listened to the replay. So great thing about Internet Radio, someone can listen to this show 2 years from now and get inspired. So I call it residual inspiration. So we record the show 1 hour a week, but then it's there on the internet for the world to hear forever. Forever. And it's like, all over the world. Yeah.
It's like planting a seed and watching it grow forever. I mean, I get to do that with YouTube videos, right? When I do talks, I'll make a video and put it out on YouTube, and every day they'll all go up 1,000 views,
Yeah.
And that's really amazing to know that many more people were affected and touching.
Yes, and even I just, like, my show is new. I'll get 1 or 2 emails a week. I'm not getting thousands of emails, but just that 1 or 2 just, inspires me to keep following my heart, And like you said, it's not necessarily looking for approval on the outside, but we do want to, feel that support. Just that 1 email makes me feel, okay, this person, I helped one person, I inspired them. When I say, because I believe that all true knowledge and your truth comes from within, and it's not a matter of a religion or a dogma, it's whatever is in your heart. That's what you should follow. So it's not a particular religion or, so it's all, everybody just going within and looking for what is true for them, and then coming out and bringing that truth out into the world with love.
Yeah.
That I think is the key. And with you having a team of people that are heart-centered like that, that is so awesome. That is really amazing. So now, how many of these events have you done thus far? Because I know.
Well, I've done quite quite a few. I mean, I'd done them in a different way for comedians at first. As a comedian, I was showing other comedians how to tap into that, but then I realized this is for everybody. So we've probably done 9 of these as a 2-day event, or 2 or sometimes 3 days event. We've done before too. And it's amazing. And so this will probably be our 9th or 10th one, something like that. And, and one thing I'll mention is for the public, tickets are $4.99, but we could make them for your listeners. We could make them like $99, and we could make a code or something like that. In fact, my assistant Carrie, I bet you she's listening to this, and we could make a code word that she could enter into the system. What code word should we have? Should it be? Let's see. What's the magical code word?
How about awake to oneness? All one word.
Awake to oneness. All one word.
All one
and
word with the
number 2?
Number 2. Awake to oneness. All one word.
Okay. Carrie, if you happen to hear that, would you text me and tell me you got it? Awake to oneness. I'm up for it. That sounds good. So if people go to kylecease.com, they can get tickets to my event. And when you go into the slot where it says $499, and in the promo code, type awake to oneness, and it'll knock it down to $99. So they can go to kylecease.com, KYLECEASE.com, and then go to the buy tickets, and then it's 2 days in Glendale, California, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., August 8th and 9th. It is going to be the most fun, transformational experience ever, and it's nothing but fun and playing, getting out of your head, letting go of anxiety, fears, what people think about you, and replacing it with creativity, thriving, possibility, originality, everything else. So
thank you so much. That is such an amazing gift. That is such an amazing gift you just gave the listeners. And that is wonderful because, even if they're not listening live this minute, they might listen to the show tomorrow, and they can still get that code, which is amazing. And I also have your link to your website on my website. So all they have to do, if they find you on my website, just go to that link and type in awake to oneness, number 2, oneness, and they can get that discount. That is amazing, and that's a wonderful gift. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate that. That is amazing.
And you got to come out to it, too.
I am going to try. I would definitely love to come out to LA again. Like I said, the first time I've ever was on the West Coast in my life was just this past May when Michael invited me, and I definitely have to try to make it. I can't guarantee it because it is kind of close, but I definitely have to try to make it.
Sure.
I would definitely
try.
Definitely.
If you enjoyed my talk and laughed and felt inspired, and if you enjoyed this talk, imagine being immersed in this type of thinking for 2 straight days with a group of people that are also doing it. It's really wonderful. So we'd love to have you. I understand if you can't, but I'll let the listeners know it's worth the flight. It's worth the trip. Come join us. It's awesome.
Yes. I truly appreciate that. That is so amazing. Now, we know that in August 8th and 9th, correct? That's the second weekend in August? Okay. Now, do you have anything else coming up within the next few months that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Yeah, I'm actually was cast the lead role in a new comedy movie that's going to be coming out next year. And, I got the part because I've been telling people if you really do what's in alignment with you, work will come to you. And I didn't even have to audition. It's really been weird. I've been getting things that I really want to get and do and be without auditioning or trying out for it. It's just like I performed on Bob Proctor's stage, and an award-winning, Oscar-winning producer was in the audience, and he gave me the role. So in August, I'm going to be working on that. And then we also host these Boy, there's so many things going on. I'm working on a TV show with a producer from the Oprah Channel. I have a book on the way with Beyond Words Publishing, who they did The Secret, and all, I mean, there's a lot of things going on right now. And we also host these beautiful 7-day retreats where people can really immerse themselves for 7 days and get into their heart for sure. And I mean, it's just amazing how many different things are going on.
Wow.
I can't believe how many opportunities have shown up just from listening to my guidance,
Right. Well, same kind of here. I probably will end up in LA again in August because I have to follow my heart, and my heart is saying go. So I will see. So I just have to go. So it's and it's just following my heart, and amazing things have happened since I started the show and started following my heart, and I'm just I believe in, and I understand everything you're saying, and it is so amazing. It really, really is. Now, I was listening to another one of your videos earlier today. It was about meditating and addiction. So could you share a little bit more about how a person can overcome their addictions with meditation?
Sure. Well, one thing I think that people think they need to do when they meditate is get their mind quiet. And I don't agree with that, because a lot of times they'll have a thought and they'll be like, oh, no, I shouldn't have this thought. I need to go focus on that one sound or whatever. But what I've discovered is what's happening for me is when I'm meditating, when I close my eyes, I feel, a lot of times you'll feel a lot of antsiness. You'll feel a lot of voices coming up going, how long are we doing this? It'll say, I can't do an hour of meditation, or all these different thoughts. And when those voices show up, your job is to allow it to show up. Just stay sitting there and let the voice say, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not a good meditator, or even positive stuff where it's like, oh, I think I meditated there, that was really good. Whatever it is, it's a voice, and that voice is not you. That voice, I always give the voice a name. Whenever the voice says something, what if they don't like you, or what if you screw up, I always go, that's just Gary. And Gary's like a roommate in your head, and all he needs is love. And every thought that comes up is a calling for you to bring in more love, to allow it to leave, because the only thing that keeps a bad thought in your head is resisting it. You trying to change that it's there acknowledges that it's real. You trying to fix your thought. You trying to make your thoughts different. You trying to be mad that your situation is that. That's where you end up putting more of a stranglehold on the thought. But if you could just allow all of the chaotic thoughts that are in your head to just be there, the more you can allow, the faster it'll leave, because it can't work in a place of love. So you just are love. You don't even have to access love or anything. That's what you are, and it's just calling you to be even more gentle and patient with yourself, and the thought will leave. And when your thoughts leave, it's only your thoughts driving you crazy that make you think you need to do something addictive. Because an addiction is what gets you in the moment. It gets you connected to yourself. It gets you feeling like you're in the moment again. But once you can clear out the thoughts by allowing them to be there, it's the only way to get rid of them. Then once they leave, you become the moment, and you don't feel addictive anymore. It's not your past addictions calling you anymore. It's just, you're just this moment. And once you just become this moment, you don't need an addiction anymore. So every day I sit up in my bed and I just close my eyes. I don't sit in any Buddhist position. I don't do anything specific. I just sit there with my eyes closed, sometimes for a couple hours. And when I do that, my thoughts come up, and I just let them come up. And they just say, what if this doesn't work, and I'm scared, and I don't know how to do this, and I got so many other things to do, and I just let them say that. And I stay sitting there. And then eventually all I experience is freedom, silence, love. And then my day I can start finally and really start it from a place of love and power and ability and connection. And then everyone in the world wants to work with you. I don't understand why we take our bodies into the shower every day, but we don't ever wash the dirt off of our mind. every morning too.
Right.
You know, we got to shower our mind also.
Right. Yes. And understanding that you're absolutely right. You're understanding that you are not your thoughts. You know, you kind of become the observer of your thoughts, but you're not your thoughts, and you don't have to allow your thoughts to get you all frazzled. You could just, that's an interesting thought. Just let it go, let it come, and let it go. You don't have to hang on to it. You know, a lot of people, you know, are addicted. That's an addiction too. Thinking. Actually, right. I heard someone say that, and I can't remember who, but who mentioned that thinking is like one of the biggest and worst addiction that most of us have, because we believe that we are our thoughts, and we're not.
Right.
We can observe them and let them go, because, like you said, what you hold on to persists. What you let go, you know, just flows. You know, I didn't say that correctly, I know, but
I got it, though.
You got the drift. Yes.
Yeah. Well, actually,
very true.
Actually, thinking is. Excuse me, I got a little something in my chest. Thinking is actually the only addiction we have, and everything else is a mirror of that addiction. You know, if you're not in your head thinking all the time, and you're just this moment, you don't want a bunch of alcohol to make you feel buzzed. You're fine.
Right. Right.
Right? So that's just a response to the thinking. And we all have different ways that we do it based on that one time when we were thinking we felt good, and we thought it was because of the alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
No, you just didn't have to think for a minute.
Yes. Yes. It took us out of our head. So we whatever, like food or alcohol or drugs, we use these different addictions to try to escape the thoughts that are making us feel depressed. But you know what's even funnier?
Mm-hmm. What's even more amazing is you created those thoughts.
Yes.
So the thoughts that you're worried about are something you created, and then you forgot you created them and got scared of them. That would be like drawing a picture of a monster and putting it on the wall in your bedroom, and then totally forgetting you drew it and freaking out every night.
Every time you see it, oh my God, there's a monster.
But it's your creation.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's true too. That's another thing. I always own the situation. Whatever happening is happening, and I embrace it and I accept it, and I say, okay, I created this situation, so I'm not gonna be upset or mad at what's happening, because I know that I created it and I own that. And I think that also kind of gives you a little bit of a power, because when you have that power that you created it, you're not a victim of your circumstances. You created your circumstances. So just like you created that circumstance, you can create another circumstance that moves you away from that. You regain your. Mhm.
But if you need to create another circumstance to get away from it, this is just a thought that goes even deeper, then you're still acknowledging that fear-based thought was real, and you're still running from an illusion. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So create the thought anyway. But when you really allow big enough, then insights will just show up and tell you the next step too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But what you said is still great and works. And I was just going to compliment it and say, and that thought is still an illusion that we're running from. It's still. That's true.
That's true. And yes, that the ultimate thing is that we are creating our illusional reality. This is, I believe, illusion, and science backs it up. Einstein said, I believe what Einstein said is time is an illusion. And I believe a lot of people misquote him and say that he said reality is an illusion. But I believe his actual quote was, time is an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. And from what quantum physics is telling us, we are living in an illusion. It's not real.
Yeah.
And when you remind yourself, and I say quantum physics for those skeptics out there who want more solid, tangible proof, and so that's why I throw quantum physics in there. But quantum physics science is telling us we're living in the Matrix. I love the movie, The Matrix. We're living in the Matrix. We're living in our own illusion, our own creation. And when you understand that and believe that, and that's something that has to come from within. I mean, that's something a person has to believe from within. You can't make a person believe that. But when you do come to that understanding that you're living in an illusion of your own creation, wow, you can okay, I don't have to stress over that. I can let that go. And you don't have to work, like you said, you don't have to work as hard. You don't have to work hard, really. My number one job every day is to align myself with Spirit. That's the most important thing, being in alignment with Spirit, and everything else is going to flow. So, and you don't work as hard when you're in alignment. Things just flow to you, like you were saying with the movie and all the great things that you're doing. All those things just flow to you because you are just in the flow of your life. So
100%. Yes.
Yes, that is so wonderful. I am so thankful that you were able to make, and I was so thankful I got the opportunity to talk to Jason Freeman last week, and he's amazing. And
Isn't he? He really
is. He is. He truly is. He is amazing. And we were both saying how, we kind of just did the show like he didn't know, I didn't know. We're just doing it. We're just in the flow. We're just following our heart, and we were both in the flow, and it was an amazing show. Hope you got a chance to listen to the show last week with Jason. It was wonderful. But if you didn't, you can listen to it anytime. That's the wonderful thing about internet radio.
Yeah.
So, but we are coming down to the hour, and I love how it just flies when I'm having these wonderful conversations with others like yourself that are just following their passion and living their dream. The hour just flies by because I could talk to you all night. But,
yeah, I could do it.
So let's remind everybody who is listening to this show live or will listen to the replay within the next week or so, remember that if you go to Jason's site, which is, Jason, give them your site again. The name of
you
your
mean
site.
Kyle?
Kyle. Did I say Jason? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Kyle.
That's
yes.
okay.
Kyle. Yes. Let the audience. Okay.
Yeah. The website is, you know what? A great website to go to is evolvingoutloud.com. All one word. Evolvingoutloud.com takes you right to the event page. If they want to see more of my videos, my name is Kyle Cease, and I know you'll have it written there. But there's 100 YouTube videos. There's all kinds of stuff. You can also, if you want, see my old comedy days, too. There's old comedy videos from 6-7 years ago, too. But there's
awesome.
But if you go to my website, kylecease.com, it'll explain everything, or evolvingoutloud.com, and they'll take you to the event page, and you can type in the promo code awake2oneness.com. I'm sorry, awake2oneness. And type that in the promo code.
The number 2. I'm just saying, you use the number 2, awake2 oneness, all one word.
Yeah.
Lowercase
and it'll knock your
ticket
down.
Yes. I was saying lowercase
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
And it'll knock the ticket down from $499 to just $99. So it takes $400 off.
Awesome. That is amazing. And Blog Talk Radio gives us 30 seconds, so I don't want us to get cut off. But thank you so much, Kyle, and I will be talking to you very soon. I appreciate everything. Thank you so much. You have a great weekend.
Thank you. I had so much fun. Thank you. I will. Wonderful. I'm going to Seattle to visit my family, so I will. Thank you.
Oh, enjoy. Okay.
I will.
Take
Thank you. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
All right. Wonderful. Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.